Mr. Oettinger, do you have prophetic powers? In 2013, you said that Italy is ungovernable. Isn't that exactly what we are experiencing right now?
We trust the Italian president, who has been pointing out to potential governmental coalition partners the rights and duties that go together with membership in the European Union and the Eurozone. We also trust the new technocratic government and are relying on possible elections to produce a result with which Italy can be governed in a pro-European way.
But given the strength of the populists, don't you think these elections will produce a vote against the euro and perhaps against Italy's EU membership? Wouldn't another net contributor to the EU budget leave?
My concern and expectation is that the coming weeks will show that developments in Italy's markets, bonds and economy will become so far-reaching that it might become a signal to voters, after all, to not vote for populists on the right and left.
You're hoping for a market shock that would persuade Italians not to vote for the populists after all. That's a vague calculation.
Even now, developments on bond markets, the market value of banks, and Italy's economy in general have darkened noticeably and negatively. That has to do with the possible government formation. I can only hope that this will play a role in the election campaign and send a signal not to hand populists on the right and left any responsibility in government.
Do you believe Italy mirrors a trend in Europe of populists becoming stronger, and that both in Italy and many other EU states, attitudes to the EU are becoming more negative?
Opinion polls have been showing attitudes toward Europe rising and growing stronger. That has to do with Erdogan and Trump and Brexit and with unstable neighboring regions. People acknowledge that there's more clout to be had as part of the European team. Ireland, Portugal, and others have put the worst behind them, are moving forward, and are grateful that Europe has helped them in recent years.
But doesn't it annoy you, for example, when prime ministers like Viktor Orban badmouth the EU at home and then go cap in hand to Brussels?
We must take note of that. But it's not acceptable, as I must say generally. Governments in all member states tend to nationalize successes and Europeanize their problems. That's unfair. That's why we, as the Commission, as commissioners, as deputies in Parliament, must advocate the advantages of a strong Europe even more aggressively and courageously.
There are many tensions within the EU, as we've discussed, but there are also tensions coming from outside. You've already mentioned Donald Trump. On Thursday, import tariffs may be imposed on European steel and aluminium. Are the Americans Europe's new external enemy?
No, not an enemy. America is our closest partner and friend. The transatlantic partnership must remain in place. The great majority of America's 330 million people are pro-European. We must only not allow ourselves to be divided and speak with a single voice in responding to Donald Trump and punitive tariffs. This is about competition and a power struggle, and we can survive it only by acting together as Europeans.
Do you think that if Donald Trump imposes punitive tariffs against individual states, individual products, that solidarity will hold? If Mercedes-Benz is taxed, or French wine, or other products, will the Europeans still stand together?
We'll see. But autocrats in Ankara, in Moscow, and Donald Trump as well, all love the game of divide and rule. If we join this game, we will lose. First one, then the other, in the end, all of us. That's why we must remain a union and speak with one voice. If cars are affected, others have to help. If Bordeaux is affected, or products from Italy are hit, the others must take a stand. As a union, we must grasp that if one of us is left out in the cold, in the end, we all lose.
Mr. Oettinger, thank you.
Thank you.